Your morning may be working against you. What if the reason your belly fat refuses to disappear has nothing to do with how much you eat? You can cut calories, skip desserts, exercise several times a week, and still look in the mirror wondering why your stomach seems unchanged. Meanwhile, someone else appears to eat more freely, exercise less, and somehow stays lean. It is easy to blame genetics, age, or a slow metabolism. But there may be another part of the picture hiding inside something you repeat every single day: your morning routine. The first hour after waking can influence your stress levels, appetite, energy, and the choices you make for the rest of the day. And the surprising part is that some habits that seem completely normal may be quietly working against your fat loss efforts. Checking your phone, reaching immediately for coffee, missing morning light, even eating a breakfast you believe is healthy. In this video, we are breaking down 7 morning mistakes that may be making belly fat harder to lose, and the simple changes you can start tomorrow. Why the first hour matters. Your body does not wake up in exactly the same state it was in when you went to sleep. During the first hour of the morning, several systems are adjusting at once. Hormones begin shifting. Your internal clock responds to light. Your brain starts preparing for activity, while signals related to hunger and energy begin changing. This is why the way you start your morning can influence how focused, hungry, stressed, and energetic you feel during the hours that follow. The mistake is believing that only calories and exercise matter when trying to lose belly fat. Those things are important, but your daily routine can also influence behaviors that make fat loss easier or harder to maintain. Poor sleep, constant stress, irregular meals, and low activity can quietly affect appetite and food choices. And many of those patterns begin immediately after waking. So before blaming your metabolism, look at what happens during your first hour. Your morning may be setting up decisions that follow you throughout the entire day. Mistake number 1: checking your phone immediately. The first mistake happens before many people even leave their bed. Checking the phone immediately after waking up. One notification becomes an email. One email becomes social media. Within minutes, your brain is processing messages, headlines, problems, and other people's lives before you have even started your own day. This flood of information can create a sense of urgency and stress, especially when the first things you see involve work, bad news, unfinished tasks, or comparison with others. And that matters because a stressful morning can influence what happens next. You may reach for caffeine faster, skip a proper breakfast, crave convenient foods later, or spend more of the morning sitting and scrolling. The phone itself does not magically create belly fat. The problem is the chain of behaviors it can trigger. Try keeping your phone away for the first 30 minutes after waking. Drink some water, open the curtains, step outside, or simply give your brain a few quiet minutes before allowing the outside world to demand your attention. Mistake number 2: drinking coffee before water. The second mistake is one of the most common morning rituals: drinking coffee before drinking water. After several hours of sleep, your body has gone a long time without fluids. Yet many people wake up and immediately reach for caffeine. Coffee may help you feel alert, but starting the morning without rehydrating first can leave you feeling more sluggish, thirsty, or dependent on another cup later. And sometimes, what feels like early hunger may simply be your body asking for fluids. A better approach is surprisingly simple. Before making coffee, drink a large glass of water and give your body a little time to wake up naturally. You do not have to eliminate caffeine or give up the morning ritual you enjoy. Just change the order. Hydrate first, then have your coffee later with or after breakfast if that works for you. This small shift can help you begin the day feeling more refreshed and intentional instead of immediately depending on caffeine for energy. Mistake number 3: missing morning light. The third mistake is spending the first part of your morning almost entirely indoors. You wake up in a dark bedroom, turn on artificial lights, check your phone, get dressed, and begin working without seeing much natural light. But morning light is one of the strongest signals your brain uses to recognize that a new day has begun. It helps regulate your internal clock, which influences when you feel awake, hungry, energetic, and eventually sleepy again at night. You do not need a complicated routine to benefit from it. Within the first hour after waking, try stepping outside for 5 to 10 minutes. Walk around the block, drink your water outdoors, or simply stand somewhere with natural daylight. This small habit can support a more consistent sleep-wake rhythm, and better sleep can make appetite and energy easier to manage. Morning sunlight is not a magical belly fat solution, but when your goal is sustainable fat loss, improving the daily rhythms that support sleep, movement, and eating habits can make a meaningful difference over time. Mistake number 4, eating a high-carb breakfast. The fourth mistake may surprise you because the breakfast can look perfectly healthy. Oatmeal with honey, granola, toast, cereal, fruit juice, or a muffin may seem like a reasonable way to start the day. But when breakfast is dominated by carbohydrates and contains very little protein, it may leave you hungry again sooner than expected. You eat a full meal, feel energized for a while, and then suddenly find yourself searching for another snack before lunch. Instead of removing carbohydrates completely, change what your breakfast is built around. Start with a meaningful source of protein such as eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or another protein-rich food you enjoy. Then add fruit, whole grains, or other carbohydrates around it. Protein can help you feel satisfied longer and make your morning meal more balanced. The goal is not to fear oatmeal, bread, or fruit. It is to stop letting carbohydrates dominate every breakfast. A meal that keeps you satisfied can make controlling your total food intake much easier throughout the day. Mistake number 5, eating before you are actually hungry. The fifth mistake is assuming that you need to eat the moment you wake up, even when you are not actually hungry. For some people, breakfast happens automatically because of habit, schedule, or the belief that eating immediately is necessary for a healthy metabolism. But if your body is not asking for food yet, forcing an early meal can simply add calories you may not need. Hunger is a signal worth noticing, not something that always follows the clock. This does not mean you need to skip breakfast or follow an extreme fasting routine. Instead, pay attention to your natural hunger cues. Drink some water, get morning light, move around, and give yourself time to wake up. If hunger arrives 30 minutes or an hour later, eat then. If you genuinely wake up hungry, there is nothing wrong with having breakfast earlier. The goal is not to follow another rigid rule. It is to become more aware of why you are eating, so your morning meal responds to real hunger rather than automatic habit. Mistake number 6, sitting immediately after breakfast. The sixth mistake happens right after breakfast, sitting down and barely moving for the next several hours. You finish eating, open your laptop, drive to work, or settle onto the couch and remain there until lunchtime. After a meal, your body has nutrients and glucose available for energy. When your muscles stay inactive, you miss a simple opportunity to use some of that energy through movement. You do not need an intense workout. Even a short walk can be useful. Try walking for 10 to 15 minutes after your first meal whenever your schedule allows. Walk around your neighborhood, take a few laps around the office, or combine the habit with your morning sunlight. The goal is not to burn hundreds of calories. It is to break up sitting, activate your muscles, and add more movement to a part of the day that is often completely sedentary. Small amounts of activity may seem insignificant, but repeated every morning, they add up. Sustainable fat loss is often built through simple behaviors you can realistically repeat every day. Mistake number 7, starting the day in stress mode. The seventh mistake is not one single habit. It is stacking several stressful habits together before your morning has even begun. You wake up late, grab your phone, read work messages, rush through the shower, drink coffee quickly, skip movement, and immediately start worrying about everything you need to finish. Nothing seems dramatic on its own, but together, These small pressures can make your entire morning feel like an emergency before the day has properly started. When mornings repeatedly feel rushed and stressful, healthy choices often become harder. You may rely on convenience foods, drink more caffeine, move less, or eat simply because you feel overwhelmed. Instead, create a small buffer between waking up and entering the demands of the day. Even 10 quiet minutes can help. Drink water, get some daylight, take a short walk, breathe slowly. Decide what actually deserves your attention first. You cannot remove every source of stress, but you can stop making urgency the first signal your mind receives every morning. The simple morning routine. Now that you know the 7 mistakes, the solution is not to completely rebuild your life overnight. Start by creating a morning routine that makes healthier choices easier. Keep your phone away for the first 30 minutes. Drink water before coffee. Step outside for morning light. Move your body for a few minutes. When you eat, build breakfast around protein instead of letting carbohydrates dominate the meal. And whenever possible, take a short walk afterward. You do not need to follow every step perfectly tomorrow. Choose 1 or 2 changes and repeat them until they begin to feel automatic. Then add another. The real advantage comes from consistency, not from creating the perfect morning. Belly fat is influenced by your overall calorie intake, activity, sleep, stress, and many other factors. So no morning habit works like magic. But a better routine can support the behaviors that make sustainable fat loss easier. Your morning does not have to control your results, but it can become one of the best places to start changing them.